and thank you for coming back to our next episode on What's Your Problem. We have a new episode, a very interesting topic to talk about, and we have a very honorable guest with us today, Mr. Arun Pandey, who heads the ARZ organization in Goa, which help women from sexual abuse and exploitations and sex trafficking. Thank you, sir, for joining our episode today. We are honored to have you with us today.
Thank you very much for inviting and talking to me on a topic which usually is very, very neglected. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. So, everyone will be learning a lot about this topic today. So, please hang on tight and stay tuned to the conversation that we're going to have today. So, sir, my first important question that I wanted to ask you, why did you choose sex trafficking among other issues that we have in the country today? What made you go for this topic specifically, and how did you start this organization?
It was very accidental, nearly 3 decades back, way back in 1993. I am a graduate in law from Lucknow University, and I was
Oh,
very keen in working on the issue of crime prevention. So
right,
I was looking for something on criminology, and then I came to know that Tata Institute of Social Sciences in Mumbai, uh,
right.
they have a specialization called criminology and correctional administration, a two
Okay,
years course. So
okay,
I joined that in 1992,
okay.
and during my field work in 1993, I happened to visit Kamatipura, one of the biggest red light area in India,
In Mumbai,
uh,
right.
for an institutional visit.
Okay.
And when I visited there, I found that openly minor girls were being exploited. There were pimps with album of the girls
Oh,
approaching the men. When I went, they approached me also. Saying that, do you want girl? And also in detail explaining is that what kind of services these girls can provide and negotiating rate. Being a
okay.
law student and never had previous any exposure of commercial sexual activity, I was shocked because what law I had studied is that therein buying and selling girls, okay, was a crime,
Yeah.
and
Right.
also selling minors, it is a crime as per the IPC. So anyway, I went around the red light area because one NGO was taking me around for an exposure visit. And
Right.
after that, once I was back at the institute, I did discuss with my supervisor that how come there is a law, but openly children, I did see many adults, and by looking towards them, one felt that they are being forced. Okay, so they are being
Oh,
exploited. So what she suggested is that why don't you place yourself at a police station? We have a placement thing. So
okay.
I was in the final year. So I was placed for 3 months at the police station there in Bombay. Then after that, I was placed in court and then at protective home. Now these three placements are important because a girl, if she is rescued, she is rescued by the police, and
Right.
after rescued, she is produced before the magistrate,
Of
and
course.
then for her rehabilitation or care and protection, she is sent to protective home. So in a
Right.
year, I managed to get exposure of these three important government services, but I was quite disappointed and more confused why commercial sexual activity is happening. And then it so happened is that I approached my institute. The institute said, why don't you take a national study? So in 94, I joined Tata Institute as a
Okay.
senior researcher.
Uh-huh.
And then with the financial support from National Women's Commission, I did a national study for 3 years
Okay.
from 94 to 97. And
Wow.
that did give me an exposure, especially what is happening at grassroots. Did get an understanding
Right.
that there is something called demand and supply.
Okay.
There is the prostitution is a complex issue, mixed
Okay.
with gender, caste, region, religion, okay, and class. So all these factors they play a key role. But
Uh-huh.
also, what happened during my study is that somewhere we managed to make a distinction between a
Right.
social problem and organized crime. Generally, during that period, and still you find a lot of people that see it as a social problem. They say
Right.
that it is because of poverty.
Yeah.
They
Right.
don't see that there is an organized crime, and many people have got into this with the intention of making business profit other than the girl.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Right.
that was very clear. And then definitely being a student of criminology and being a student of social work, my purpose was not only to understand the problem, but also to look for solution. And
Right.
that is when, with my team of friends and professors, came out with a model called
Yeah.
Mukti model. And
Okay.
that is what we wanted to implement, try and implement, because after that I got a job at this, okay, offered at a lectureship, but I somewhere felt is that after working 3 years at grassroots, what getting so much experience, what is the use teaching? One needs to go and work at grassroots if you want to make any difference. So
Right.
decided
Right.
that let me implement this model instead of recommending to other NGOs and government. And as you know, not necessarily everybody reads thick research reports.
Of
Okay.
course. Right. Right.
And then I selected Baina because in Vasco, Goa, because
Right.
that was a small red light area. And
Okay.
during my research, 3 years research, I had visited Baina. So we
Okay.
selected Baina as a red light area to implement this
Right.
model. And
Right.
also, and one of the major reasons, other than being a small red light area, we selected as a professional because there we had religious based prostitution called Devdasi practice. Okay. And there was a community supported prostitution
Right.
because next
Right.
to the red light area, okay, there is a big slum area. We
Right.
found that that was being done. And also during my research, I found is that since last 10 years, which I'm talking about, I did the research there in 94, Goa. So till last 10, before 10 years, not a single girls were rescued. Though openly I found during my research that minor girls were dedicated in the name of the goddess Yellamma,
Right.
dedicated and commercially sexually exploited. Girls were
And they did
trafficked
it
from
by
the.
their own choice. They did it by choice that I am giving myself in the name of God, so I will do
It
this.
was a very organized way to do it. What used to happen is that there was a slum area where majority of the resident of these slums were from North Karnataka, which had a tradition of practicing
Right.
Devdasi.
Right.
Especially Devdasi, the tradition is practiced in lower caste in North Karnataka. So now this population from better opportunity, they have migrated to Goa, and majority we found were residing next to the red light area, and they used to see red light area as a source of income. Many of these women, they used to work there as maids, okay, and sell eatables, and their girls, their daughters were becoming highly valuable because the
Mm.
brothel keepers and pimps who were themselves Devdasis, they used to identify these families where there were girls. And then, whenever there was a crisis, they used to give them loan or encourage them to take loan. Also, most of the men, because they belong to Devdasi practice families, they were like parasite surviving on the earning of women. So
Oh,
somewhere we found that there was some kind of acceptability, okay,
so
of dedicating their daughters as Devdasi. And one of the oath they used to take after being dedicated that they will not get married. And that made them highly vulnerable. So as soon as a girl attended puberty, she was dedicated. And after dedication, forced into prostitution in Baina red light area.
okay.
So
Oh,
this was being done in an organized manner. Uh, Again, we feel as much as brothel keepers and pimps were responsible for exploitation. Similarly, the family members were also responsible.
Yeah.
That's the reason during our course of intervention, we booked cases against not only brothel keepers, pimps, and clients, but also family members and also those women who dedicated these girls. So anyway, the selection of Baina was done for us. But then what we wanted is that initially we were very idealistic and not very much exposed to reality. So as
Hmm.
you have graduated from TIS and then you felt you can change the world and
Right,
you
right,
require money. So we went around asking for fellowship. So
right.
initially, most of the people we approached, they felt that we were idiots, okay,
Yeah,
going to a new place, going to a red light area, going to a place where you don't know anyone. And it's
right,
not that you're born and brought up or you have friends, relatives, and you're going in an organized red light area and wanting to make a difference. We were looking for fellowships so that we can come and work. We
right.
didn't get. Then it so happened is that Tata Trust came forward and they said, we would be interested in supporting your initiative, but for that we want you to register as an organization.
Okay,
So
okay,
individual we can't support. Okay. So
okay.
then our batchmate, the 92, 94, the batchmates, we got together and we registered this organization called ARZ, which basically is a Urdu word and means that can I, with your permission, present my idea. But unfortunately, we were working in this part of India where instead of us, they started pronouncing ARZ, ARZ. Okay.
Right.
So that's the reason when then we thought that let's have an acronym called Anyay Rahit Zindagi, life without injustice. Because everybody used to ask, yeah, ARZ, what do you mean by ARZ? Okay. So that
Right.
was it. And that's how we started work. In देखिए अना कि आपका सवाल बहुत ही सही है ना। दो तरह के लोग हैं। ओके, हमारा जब हम काम करते हैं, एक लड़की वो है जो कि निकलना चाहती है
Hmm.
और एक लड़की वो है जो जो बोलती है मेरे को नहीं निकलने का। अब हमें भी ये भी समझना जरूरी है कि कि कौन सी लड़की है जो बोलती है हमें नहीं निकलना चाहिए। हम इतने सालों से काम कर रहे हैं, लास्ट 30 साल से काम कर रहे हैं और हमने जो लड़की की जिंदगी है उसको 3 भागों में डिवाइड किया है। लाइफ जर्नी, पहली जर्नी को हम कहते हैं रेसिस्टेंस स्टेज। मतलब की है कि जब उसको वैश्यावृत्ति में डाला जाता है, वो रेसिस्ट करती है, विरोध करती है और उस समय उसके ऊपर सबसे ज्यादा अत्याचार होता है। मारते हैं, पीटते हैं, रेप करते हैं, गैंग रेप करते हैं, बंद करके रखते हैं और कई केसेस में उसके वेजाइना में चिली पाउडर डालना, वेरियस कई तरह के चीजें होती हैं। ये तब तक चलता रहता है कि जब तक कि लड़की जो उसको कैप्टर्स हैं, जो उसको ब्रॉथल कीपर हुए, पिंप हुए, जो वो चाहते हैं वो न करे। वो कब तक सहेगी, है ना। और अनफॉर्चुनेटली क्या होता है कि पहले स्टेज में जब लड़की रहती है तो हमारे जैसे एनजीओ या पुलिस ज्यादातर केसेस में रीच आउट नहीं कर पाते हैं क्योंकि उसे किसी एक कमरे में बंद करके ये अत्याचार चल रहा है होता है। तो दूसरा जो स्टेज है उसे कहते हैं एडाप्टेशन स्टेज। तो
Right.
जब उसको कोई सहारा नहीं मिलता है, वो कब तक ये वायलेंस सहेगी। तो कहती है कि ठीक है, आप लोग जो बोल रहे हो मैं करने को तैयार हूं। तो क्या करने को तैयार है? शॉर्ट ड्रेस पहनने का, लिपस्टिक लगाने का, सॉलिसिटिंग करने का, जो क्लाइंट आते हैं उनके साथ सोने का। ओके, और वो जो कहते हैं सिगरेट पियो, दारू पियो, ड्रग्स लो। ओके, तो ये सब चीजें वो करना शुरू करती है। और जो थर्ड स्टेज होता है उसे कहते हैं एक्सेप्टेंस स्टेज। एक्सेप्टेंस स्टेज में है वो उस मार्केट का हिस्सा बन जाती है क्योंकि उसको ये लगने लगता है अब तो मैं रंडी हो गई। रंडी सबसे रंडी सबसे औरत के लिए गंदी गाली है और कौन उसको एक्सेप्ट करेगा? वेयर आर द सर्विसेज? ओके, शी नोज दैट शी हैज बिकम अ अल्कोहलिक, she knows now that she has physical health problem, she knows that socially nobody is going to accept, she knows that the parents have sold her in most of the cases, okay, or the family or society is not going to accept, she knows that once she goes out everybody will ask who is the child's father? Whereas रेड लाइट एरिया एक जगह है जहां पे ये सब नहीं पूछा जाता है और उसके जो सोशल रिलेशनशिप है वो यहीं पे होते हैं। तो यही कारण है कि एक्सेप्टेंस स्टेज में जब लड़की आ जाती है तो वो बाहर निकलना नहीं चाहती है। तो ये थोड़ा एक ये लाइफ के जो स्टेजेस हैं, एक लड़की जो वैश्यावृत्ति में है वो समझना बहुत जरूरी है। नहीं तो कहीं पे हम इसी को लेके कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट हो जाता है और फिर हम कहते हैं कि लड़कियां आर आस्किंग अबाउट लीगलाइजेशन ऑफ प्रोस्टिट्यूशन। नो, इट इज नॉट ट्रू। The girls, they are asking to continue because it is now too late for the state or for the NGO to provide service. They have lost trust on the state and NGO. And also, where are the services? कहाँ पे है सर्विसेज? मेंटल हेल्थ के लिए है क्या? डी एडिक्शन के लिए है क्या? काउंसलिंग है क्या? लाइवलीहुड के लिए कौन जॉब देने के लिए तैयार है उनको? ओके। और साथ ही साथ हमें ये भी समझना पड़ेगा कि उनके जो प्रोस्टिट्यूशन का जो असर होता है सिर्फ उस विक्टिम पे ही नहीं होता है, उसके बच्चों पे भी होता है। right. उसके बच्चे भी देखते हैं कि मेरा कितने बाप है ना। ज्यादातर बच्चे लोग ड्रग्स में जाते हैं, लड़के लोग क्राइम में जाते हैं और लड़की लोग फाइनली दे लैंड अप in one form or other form of sexual violence. Okay. But in the end, what we are saying is that is only the way where she feels that she can survive. So when it comes to us, we work with all the women who are victim of commercial sexual exploitation. So अगर कोई लड़की निकलना चाहती है, हमें इंफॉर्मेशन मिला है, so we have a team of professionals. We have lawyers, we have counselors, we have social workers. Along with the police, we go, we rescue these girls. Okay. At the time of rescue, at the scene of offense, we separate them from the traffickers. We bring them to the police station. We provide them counseling. We tell them that you are a victim. Many times these girls, they don't know they are victim. It is we know victim. पर उनको विक्टिम हम बताते हैं विक्टिम है, और न केवल बताना पर उनके साथ बिहेव भी करना। कई बार हम प्रोफेशनल सिर्फ टर्मिनोलॉजी यूज करते हैं, पर एक्चुअली नॉट नेसेसरली वी ट्रीट देम प्रॉपर्ली। आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट वेदर इट इज पुलिस, वेदर इट इज एनजीओ, वेदर इट इज जुडिशियरी, एवरीवन। बट हम रियल सेंस में कोशिश करते हैं कि वी ट्रीट देम एज अ विक्टिम एट द पुलिस स्टेशन। उसके बाद हम क्या करते हैं कि पुलिस को गाइड करते हैं कि लड़की अगर माइनर है तो उसे चाइल्ड वेलफेयर कमेटी के सामने प्रोड्यूस करके जुवेनाइल जस्टिस एक्ट है ना, चिल्ड्रंस होम में भेजें, और जो एडल्ट है उनको मैजिस्ट्रेट के सामने प्रोड्यूस करके हम उन्हें प्रोटेक्टिव होम भेजें। वी डिस्करेज द पुलिस टू रिलीज द गर्ल फ्रॉम पुलिस स्टेशन even though there are family members coming and asking for custody, because we believe that if a girl has got into commercial sexual activity, somewhere the family has failed to protect. क्योंकि it is the prime responsibility of the family to protect. अगर लड़की धंधे में आ गई, क्या उन्होंने पुलिस का हेल्प लिया, क्या उन्होंने एनजीओ का हेल्प लिया, क्या उन्होंने जुडिशरी का हेल्प लिया? All these are there in our law, but we find, therefore we feel that till and until a proper inquiry is conducted by magistrate or child welfare committee, we should not be releasing, because we should ensure that the girls who have been trafficked, who have been rescued, they need to be proper inquiry and proper rehabilitation should be provided. Fortunately, in Goa, we are able to work at all the points. Now, ARZ has been appointed as the nodal NGO by Goa Police of Anti-Human Trafficking Unit. तो जब भी उनको रेस्क्यू करने जाते हैं वो हमें बुलाते हैं और हम जाके पुलिस के साथ रेस्क्यू करते हैं। उसके बाद पुलिस स्टेशन में उनका स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्डिंग के लिए हेल्प करते हैं। उसके बाद लड़की प्रोटेक्टिव होम में जाती है, वहां पे हमारे टीम ऑफ प्रोफेशनल्स हर रोज जाते हैं। We have a collaboration with Women and Child Welfare Department since last 25 years. So the department is taking care of building, food, administration, security, whereas day to day rehabilitation services like counseling, income generation, self-development, all these services are provided by us. Now, Goa being a destination state, the girls are not only trafficked only from different parts of Goa, but also there are a lot of foreign nationals who are being trafficked. So
Oh,
while we work at protective home, we try to ensure that their documentations are properly done so they can be reintegrated with their family. Many times they don't have their passport visa. Many
right.
times they don't have money to travel back. Many a times the traffickers file cases in the courts so that they don't go back. So we, with the help of the district administration, law enforcement agency, FRRO, try to see that they get proper services so that they can return back. Then coming man to the second category which you're talking about, those who want to prostitute. Now, as per our law, the women who wish to prostitute, they can prostitute, but others should not benefit. So we have been working for their protection of human rights. Now they also have domestic violence issue.
Right,
We
right,
try, their the family members, their husbands, partners extorting money from them. So we intervene in that. We try
right,
and see that bank accounts are open. We try and see counseling provided to them. We work with their children so that at least the second generation is prevented. So their education, counseling, and most importantly, what we are doing is that majority of these girls, they don't have documents like
right.
Aadhaar card,
Hmm.
voting card,
Right,
ration card. Okay, so we have been helping with the help of district administration to get these documents. Also, whenever we find that there is some kind of harassment by police and goons, we do intervene on case to case basis. So basically, we are trying to work with all possible women and girls who are victim of commercial sexual exploitation. Also, to share with you the second category of the girl which we're telling, those who are at acceptance stage, we have seen if we work for on a long period, then they do start trusting the
okay,
NGOs, and we have found a large number of these girls have come and joined our livelihood program.
okay. So what is this livelihood program, sir, exactly? Like आप क्या करते हो वो program में उनके लिए?
अरे देखिए, हम हमारे काम करने के दौरान, शुरू में जब हमने काम शुरू किया था, तो उस समय हमें लगा था कि हम प्रोस्टिट्यूशन को, इसको सेक्स ट्रैफिकिंग को सिर्फ ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशन के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखें। पर जब
Okay,
हम लड़की लोग को रेस्क्यू करने लगे, साथ ही साथ जो लड़की लोग कंटिन्यू करना चाहते थे उनके राइट्स पे बात करने लगे, उनको हेल्प कर रहे थे, इंक्रीजिंगली दे सेड इज दैट बट प्रोवाइड अस सम अल्टरनेटिव,
hmm.
वी डोंट वांट टू कंटिन्यू इन दिस।
Right,
And
right.
that's the reason what we did is that we set up a industrial laundry way back in 2006.
Okay,
हमने participatory थी, we discussed with the girls कि actually आपको क्या चाहिए।
hmm.
तो उन्होंने बोला कि देखिए भाई, हमें क्या चाहिए कि इतना मिनिमम पैसा मिल जाए कि किसी से मांगना ना पड़े,
Hmm.
एक। दूसरा है कि हमें एक फिक्स डे को सैलरी मिले,
Hmm.
और तीसरा है कि आप ये ना कहे 4-5 साल बाद कि भाई हमारे पास काम नहीं है, हमारा बिजनेस नहीं चला, और
Right.
उसके बाद आप लोग जानते हो कि हमें क्या प्रॉब्लम्स है, लाइक वी
Mhm.
आर अल्कोहलिक, we will take time to adjust with your timeline. Okay,
Right,
so
right.
therefore if you provide a flexibility, we are open. So that's the reason we set up a big industrial laundry unit. Now we have various business program.
Mhm.
Laundry we have the paper product. We produce tissue paper,
Okay.
toilet rolls, paper bags, fabrics, printing, iron printing,
Right.
various screen printing. Lot of business programs we have. Now the girls who are working here gets a minimum salary of 15,000 rupees.
15.
With
Oh,
that, they have ESI, they have Provident Fund, they have full-time counselor at our
okay.
unit providing counseling to them. Also, we have a separate person working with their children and family members. What
Okay.
we have seen now, this is a non-shelter based rehabilitation.
Not. Okay.
These are factories set up under industrial laws. Okay,
Right.
so like any other factory, these women come at 9, work, and they leave at 5. There's a crash facility. So what we have done is that, like any one of us, you or me, require a decent job and a decent salary, without much control. Okay, because when we say that, see, unfortunately in India and all across the globe, you don't find livelihood service being provided to these
Right.
victims.
Yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately, all of us service providers, whether in India or abroad, we somewhere feel that these are the women who will spoil the society. So,
Hmm.
what are the services we are providing? What are the government schemes or NGO schemes? That we run shelter home, wherein we rescue them and keep them. We fail to understand is that that they are victim. Okay,
Yeah.
and also how long are we going to keep them?
Mm.
The
Right.
permanent rehabilitation is only when you reintegrate them with the society and provide them livelihood so that they can long term settle with the society.
Of
Mm.
course.
Unfortunately, this is the area which is completely neglected all across the globe.
True.
Fortunately, in Goa, under which Women Initiative Self Help, the livelihood program we have, we are not only providing livelihood to the victim, but also to the perpetrators. Because pimps, brothel keepers,
Uh,
because some of them are children of these traffic victims. Some of the
Right.
brothel keepers are those who were previously victim, but they didn't get proper rehabilitation. As a result, for their survival at an old age, when they're not getting customer, they have become pimps.
yeah.
Anyway, we have our own rules. If somebody is involved in exploitation of minors, we
Right.
believe that first the person should follow the criminal justice system, and
Hmm.
then we work on their reform. But anyway, our this model of providing livelihood to victim as well as to the perpetrator has helped in breaking the market of commercial sexual activity in Goa.
Okay. Wow, that's something that's very intense actually. It's amazing. And it is true that across the globe people fail to understand this, like they are victims. They were forced into something, and accepting them back
In
becomes
the
a problem for them as well in the society. Exactly. Yeah.
uh,
So my next, coming to that, I wanted to ask you, sir, my next question was that when you were starting this organization, what were the challenges you came across to start this organization? Because it is such a deep rooted issue in the world, and a lot of people must have come and tried to stop you from doing this organization or tried to help these women from this racket. Has anything like that happened with you, where people have actually tried to stop you or didn't want you to go ahead with this project?
Definitely, it has happened to me, and also many of those who have been trying to rescue girls. Okay, because we need to understand is that this is the market. Okay, wherein there are males. Okay, who create demands as
Hmm.
clients, and there is a whole market set up to exploit that demand by selling women and children as commodity and making money.
Right.
Uh, you need to understand is that it is said as that is the third largest illegal revenue generating
Yeah.
business. So lakhs of rupees are being generated, and these are generated based on the commodity, that is women and the children. So if you are trying to remove this commodity from the market, definitely there is going to be the backlash. Okay, and
Right.
we
Right.
have faced that. In fact, we
Okay.
have faced from all the groups, whether it is police, whether it is the traffickers who are running this, whether it
Right.
is
Right.
politicians, okay, and whether it is the local citizens. Because
Mhm.
many a times we people don't understand like how this market is run. Unfortunately, they always feel that the women who are the victim are actually the culprit. So if you talk anything in their interest, everybody feels that we are for prostitution. But actually, that is not.
That is not true, of course.
yeah.
Uh,
Right.
uh,
Right.
so, but unfortunately, as Pal was asking, that it has been a very, very difficult journey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
One side, as a professional, you come with certain ideas, You come with certain model. It is basically a professional
Right.
trying to implement a model. Okay, not so much emotionally, but as a professionally we got into this. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And when we started seeing difference, we got more excited and continue with this. And
Right.
while as a professional, we continued one after other. Genuine demand came, and we started those services. Because when we
Right.
started, we didn't think of livelihood.
Yeah.
Neither
Right.
any of us are from business field. But when that strongly came, we started that. So
Right.
that's how we did. But unfortunately, what happens is that this is a group which is the most stigmatized group.
Hmm.
Right.
Now, if you work for other groups like special children, okay, like old age,
Mm-hmm.
other groups, you do get some kind of support from people.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
you work with this group, it is always seen is that you are encouraging prostitution.
Hmm.
These are people who break family.
Yes.
Unfortunately, our understanding is very limited. When I say the society, we can't make a simple distinction. Is that the girls are being brought and the men come on their own?
Yes.
You see the kind of discrimination these girls they face, stigmatization, that they are called randis. Okay, that
Right.
is the worst gali. Whereas the men, because of whom this whole prostitution market runs, they are called clients. अभी
Right.
तक हमें कोई भी एक गलत टर्मिनोलॉजी नहीं मिला है जिससे हम क्लाइंट को रिफर करें. क्लाइंट इज सो रिस्पेक्टेबल.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually they are sex offenders, but
Yeah.
we don't call them sex offender. अगर क्लाइंट नहीं होगा, अगर सेक्स का डिमांड नहीं करेगा, तो मार्केट नहीं स्टैब्लिश होगा, लड़की और औरत को सप्लाई नहीं होगा. ये एक सिंपल बेसिक है.
Hmm.
है ना? पर ये हम लोग पर अगर आप देखने जाएं तो इसके अंदर समाज हो, रिलीजन हो, पैट्रियार्की हो, कास्ट हो, सब लोग इन्वॉल्व है. पर तब भी हम ये चलता आ रहा है, इनफैक्ट बढ़ता जा रहा है. एंड वी प्राउडली से that it is one of the oldest profession, but actually it is one of
Yeah.
the oldest exploitation happening to women. And
Yeah.
all of us, we have accepted this as part of our society because we feel very convenient to define it as a social problem ki garibi ki wajah se. We don't see it as an organized crime. We are
Right.
ready to walk on the street. कैंडल मार्च करेंगे अगर निर्भया होगा तो. पर निर्भया हर रोज रेड लाइट एरिया में हो रहा है.
Right. Right.
Okay. Somewhere we try to make it that these girls are different. They are sexual pervert. They enjoy sex. Imagine entertaining 10 customer at the age of 15 years. A majority of the girls, on an average, are inducted in commercial sexual activity at the age of 15 to 16. That is what our statistics say. We
Mm-hmm.
need to also understand is that the men who are coming are not normal men.
Right.
These are men who are sick.
Yeah.
Imagine entertaining 10 sick persons. Okay, a sexually sick person, mentally sick person is not easy. That spoils your whole life. But unfortunately, we find is that very less discussion is happening on this issue. We
Right.
find is that very less interventions are happening on this issue. As per the government statistic general, like the statistic of NGO, there would not be less than 3 million women in commercial sexual activity in India. But the rescue which is done per year on an average all across the India is not more than 1,500. So
That.
why
Oh.
this gap? So this gap is simply not because of law. We have the best laws in India.
Yeah.
But it is mainly because those who are supposed to enforce law, they see it as a social problem. They
Yeah.
don't see it as an organized crime. They don't see it as a rape. They don't see it as a molestation.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, unfortunately, till and until we are able to create that kind of awareness among the law enforcement agency, okay, these things will continue. And who will create awareness? Who will create pressure? As you know, the law, today the law is implemented in different parts of world, especially in India, when there is pressure from society. You see what is happening in Calcutta.
Yeah.
Now, when people are coming on the street, then you find the CBI is getting involved, and then they find that that place was around since years. Such kind of activities were happening as corruption or
Right.
sexual
Right.
violence or sex work. Everything is coming up.
Everything is
So
coming up from there.
unfortunately, till and until the society comes forward and talks for these women, you will see that children and women will continue to be trafficked and exploited.
सर
So you
एक
were saying that.
हाँ,
Sorry, no, no, go ahead, go ahead.
नहीं मैं कह रही थी एक ऐसा कोई स्टोरी जो आप बताना चाहो एक पर्टिकुलर इंसान के बारे में नाम के बिना जो आपने रेस्क्यू किया हो और उसका लाइफ स्टोरी चेंज हो गया हो या
ऐसे कई है अरे अरे एक जो आप पूछ रहे हैं तो हमें ध्यान आ रहा है कि हमारे यहाँ जब मैंने काम शुरू किया था और करीबन 1998 2 अक्टूबर 1998 में हमने बायना में काम शुरू किया और उसके बाद 2 साल काम करने के बाद जब हमने काम शुरू किया तो वहां पे कानून नहीं था देवदासी प्रथा पे हमारे गोवा में। ओके और ये हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज हो रहा था कि हम लोग कैसे रेस्क्यू करें। जब हम पुलिस के पास गए बोले कि अगर देवदासी अगर है तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं जब तक कि उसके साथ उसको बेचा ना जाए और जब तक उसके साथ सेक्सुअल एक्टिविटी ना हो। ओके तो ये चैलेंज था हमारे सामने। बट एनीवे उसी दौरान क्या हुआ कि हमें खबर मिली कि एक लड़की है जो कि 14 साल की है, उसको डेडिकेट किया गया है और एक जो घरवाली है वो बहुत ही इन्फ्लुएंशियल घरवाली है। इनफैक्ट इतनी इन्फ्लुएंशियल है कि उसके नाम से एक गली रेड लाइट एरिया में थी।
ओके
तो उसके यहाँ ये लड़की डेडिकेट हुई। somehow we managed to convince the crime branch in Goa. The police officer, the IPS officer was quite sensitive. He understood. Okay. And then we rescued this girl. And after rescue, the girl was quite hostile because this girl was dedicated. And then she was put into prostitution. Now you need to understand is that during our course of work, we have found that the girls who are directly sold in prostitution, it is easier to work with them compared to those who are dedicated and then sold. Because उसमें क्या होता है रिलीजियस एंगल हो जाता है एक, और दूसरा ये है कि ज्यादातर जो डेडिकेट किए जाते हैं उनकी फैमिली में ये ट्रेडिशन चला आ रहा है, तो उनको नहीं लगता है ये कुछ गलत है। उनको लगता है कि हम उनके रिलीजियस जो प्रैक्टिसेस है। सो व्हेन वी रेस्क्यूड दिस गर्ल शी वाज वेरी वेरी हॉस्टाइल। ओके एंड देन शी केप्ट ऑन एक्यूजिंग मी दैट ठीक है तुमने मेरे को रेस्क्यू किया, प्रोटेक्टिव होम में रख दिया, अब मेरे बहनों का क्या होगा। शी हैड 4 sisters,
Okay.
no brother. Okay, and her father was an alcoholic. Okay, and mother was a rag picker. So she said, what will happen to my this? Anyway, what we did is that we tried to talk to the mother. Mother was very hostile. Okay, but after some time she realized that she can't do anything. The magistrate was nice enough. He passed an order that she is the minor till she is the major. She will be continue to stay in protective home and receive rehabilitation. So when mother realizes that my daughter is not going to be released for coming 3 years, okay, and we are watching that she doesn't dedicate the other girls, she agreed, relented, and she said, okay, मेरे बच्चों के education के लिए support करो. So we admitted all her children in boarding school. Once this girl, her tenure completed and she was 18, the time came, I met her, I said कि अब क्या plan है? तो then she said तू बोल अब क्या करने का, अरे तुम मेरे को यहाँ पे लेके आए थे, अब मैं वापस जाके धंधा नहीं करूंगी, मेरे को काम दे, मैं पढ़ी लिखी भी नहीं हूँ। And that was the time I got shaken up because it was way back in 2003 or 4. Okay. We did that time we didn't have job, we didn't have livelihood program.
Right,
So,
right.
and she said, now you give me work. I'm ready to work whatever you do. So
Right.
then we discussed for us as a team, we didn't have money because we were very few, 2-3 of us we were working. The other also challenge was that if we take this girl, okay, other girls will also come and say, आप हमें भी काम दो, कितने लोग को देंगे? And we can't discriminate. But anyway, since this girl was adamant saying, now you give me, we said, okay, let's try it out. So we
Hmm.
took this girl, she joined us, and we gave her responsibility of trying to identifying the girls who are vulnerable to be dedicated and talking to these girls and their family. We felt that it is going to be very challenging for her, and it was challenging because she has to work in the same red light area where she was being exploited. But
Right.
she did a great job. She went around, okay, talking to the girls, talking to their family, about talking about her journey. She mobilized many girls to join school because the family never wanted to spend on them. They kept
Right.
them at home. Family also feared that if the girl goes to school, she will get empowered or she'll get into relationship. सो
Hmm. Hmm.
वो लोग 14 साल तक घर पे ही रखते थे। अरे जैसे नहीं होता है कि बकरीद से पहले बकरा खरीद के घर पे खिलाओ पिलाओ और बकरीद के दिन काटो, वही हाल था वहां पे। सो
Right.
शी
Right.
many of these girls, they joined, we supported them, they joined local day school, okay, and she continued to work with us. And not
Wow.
only that, in livelihood program when we started, she played a major role in mobilizing women to come and join. And she has been with us since last 25 years. And in fact, for her contribution, the CII, the Confederation of Indian Industry,
Yeah.
awarded her as Exemplary Women Award in 2019. So
Wow.
here we see that a girl who at the age of 14 been dedicated, okay, now she has become an ambassador, uh, going all across Goa and Karnataka, speaking about her life and motivating people, okay, not to dedicate their children, but to educate them. Recently, last week, we had a consultation wherein NGOs from Bellary, Bijapur, Bhagalkot,
Right.
Belgaum, they had come to Goa, all Devdasis, and wherein she was one of the major resource person. So we
Hmm.
feel proud.
Yeah.
But
Of
again,
course.
that she is not only one. There are many women. uh, In last 25 years, we have worked with, especially today, we are providing livelihood to around 65 women. And
Wow.
everyone for us is exemplary.
Yeah.
Of
They
course.
have they have fought their family because
Right.
that is not easy.
It is not. It is not easy, of course.
Because
It's
the
not.
families are like parasites.
Yeah.
You will be surprised to know that during our counseling session, many times these girls come and cry before our counselors. And what we found is very common is that when their child says, "Tu randi hai." Now, many a times these children have become habitual to taking money from the mother and going to school. When they are in prostitution, they used to give. Okay, but once they started working, they have started saving, and now they don't give so regularly money to their children. And whenever they don't give, they are reminded that she is a prostitute. So many times they say कि देखिए क्या फायदा है जब बच्चा ही मेरे को इस तरह से देखता है. Not only child, but parents also, siblings also, partner also, husband also, they have been seeing that a source of income. And when she is unable to fulfill their need, they call her Randi, remind her Randi. But anyway, we are happy
Yeah.
that the
Of course.
model which we initiated, okay, has been one of the successful model. It is today not only being implemented in Goa, but it is being implemented at the level of South Asia, wherein the organization from India, Nepal, Bangladesh, they are following this model, and we are seeing a difference in controlling commercial sexual activity, especially in these areas. But again, NGOs can't on their own make a difference.
Yeah.
Now
Of
it
course.
is the state which has to take initiative. The Mukti model has to be studied, researched, and made a part of government policy. It is only
Right.
then we'll find a difference.
Right. Right. So this must have been very mentally draining for you as well, right? So through this journey, for them, of course, it was a huge impact from shifting from something that you have been learned all your life from your family and something that you've grown out of, and for them to do a sudden shift of their life, it must have been equally draining for you also to talk to them about to talk to them about them and their habits, and how to bring them into a good track. How was your experience mentally? It must have been mentally challenging for you as well.
Very true, it does affect. Okay, and it affects especially at the end of the day, you are alone. Okay,
Right,
because you do try to ventilate with your colleagues, okay, with your friends, but एक समय के बाद बोरिंग हो जाता है. कोई
right,
हमेशा बैठ के आपको सुनना नहीं चाहता है. ओके,
right,
है ना?
right,
और ये भी है कि सिर्फ वेंटिलेशन से चीजें नहीं होती हैं. ओके, है
right,
ना? और ये भी आप कितना भी कहे, यू कट योरसेल्फ आउट नहीं होता है. अगर आप
right,
24 आवर्स नहीं सोचो, स्ट्रैटेजी नहीं बनाओ, ओके, तो ये डिफरेंस नहीं आता है. आज बहुत आसान लग रहा है 30 साल बाद आप लोगों को स्टोरी बताने का, बट एवरी डे इट हैज बीन चैलेंजिंग, वेयर इन वन साइड यू आर ट्राइंग टू मोबिलाइज द स्टेट to do what they are supposed to do. On the other side, you are fighting these traffickers who know that we are making, we are harming their business. And there other side, the victims are there. They somewhere don't know whose side to take. Also,
hmm,
they don't know that what benefits we are going to bring. And even if they know the benefits what they have got, they will not come in public and say that this person has or this organization has brought this benefit, because then they would be identified as women in prostitution. So,
right,
so
right,
here it is the battle which has been very, very challenging, very challenging. Also, not been so easy. But fortunately, what we feel, Payal and Asta, is that end of the day, professionally, it is very satisfying.
Professional.
Okay,
right,
you feel satisfied that the model which you have come up with, okay, and that has been successful, okay, in implementing. Today Goa has many best practices. Now
Yeah,
we can challenge and say in Goa today is that if there is any traffic victim wants to exit, wants to leave prostitution, we will provide her employment for 15,000. That we can say very challenging. We find today is that the Goa police follows all the mandatory provision laid down in Immoral Traffic Prevention Act to ensure that the rights of victims are protected. We are seeing that the Goa government is paying for the travel of the girls from other state and other country. So what I think, like it's not only the some of the interventions of ours have been successful, but we find that the state has also reciprocated uh, in a very sensitive uh, and sensitive matter. And as a result, we find that today, though Goa is a major tourist destination,
yeah.
tourists will definitely create a demand for sex, but the response of the state and us together has tried to control it. We know it is very difficult to completely
yes,
stop commercial sexual activity in a place like Goa because it's a tourist destination. Because
Yeah.
right,
most of the tourists coming here are
right,
coming here for fun, and one of the criteria for fun is having sex. Okay, so that would be difficult to change. But at least we find is that we have not yet become Bangkok. And the credit goes to great extent to our state administration, who has been sensitive, and they have been periodically taking action against traffickers, okay, and cooperating with uh, organization like ours, okay, in the rehabilitation of victims.
सर
right.
अर्श को सपोर्ट कहाँ से मिलता है? लाइक यू सेड टाटा वाज इनिशियली सपोर्टिंग यू. इज इट दैट स्टिल सपोर्ट इज स्टिल देयर?
टाटा का सपोर्ट था, उसके बाद से अभी हमें कुछ सपोर्ट अजीम प्रेमजी फाउंडेशन से भी आता है.
ओके.
ओके, है ना? और कुछ सपोर्ट है ना, हमें एक इक्पैट करके एक संस्था है लग्जमबर्ग में, है ना,
ओके.
वो लोग हमारे कुछ इंटरवेंशंस को सपोर्ट करते हैं, है ना, बेसिकली एंटी ट्रैफिकिंग और लाइवलीहुड का जो सपोर्ट.
सर
अच्छा,
ये जो सपोर्ट है, जैसे आपने कहा आप 65 वुमेन्स को सपोर्ट कर रहे हो, आपका विजन क्या है इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को और आगे कहाँ लेके जाना चाहते
जी देखिए, हमारा ये है कि कि हमें जितना करना था
हैं?
एक्सपेरिमेंट और अपने मॉडल में एक्टिविटीज ऐड करने थे, वो मोरलेस हम कर चुके हैं।
हम्म
अगर आप पूछें कि आगे क्या, आगे हमारा यही है कि जो मॉडल है मुक्ति मॉडल, वो दूसरी जगह भी इम्प्लीमेंट हो।
हम्म
क्योंकि क्योंकि देखिए, हम गोवा में प्रोस्टिट्यूशन नहीं रोक पाएंगे, सेक्स ट्रैफिकिंग नहीं रोक पाएंगे जब तक कि वेस्ट बंगाल, महाराष्ट्र और दिल्ली, जो कि हमारे 3 मेन सोर्स स्टेट्स हैं,
हाँ
ठीक है। क्योंकि प्रोस्टिट्यूशन में ये है कि क्राइम एक ही स्टेट में नहीं होता है, एक ही
हाँ
पुलिस जुरिस्डिक्शन में नहीं होता है।
हम्म
हमारे यहाँ जो लड़कियां हैं गोवा में 25 स्टेट से आती है, और जो
Wow.
गोवा में से है सिर्फ 7% है। रेस्ट 93% are coming from outside Goa. So till and until work is done outside Goa, नेपाल, बांग्लादेश, कीनिया, युगांडा, उज्बेकिस्तान, वहां पे अगर काम नहीं होगा तो यहाँ पे तो सिर्फ हम रेस्क्यू ही करते रहेंगे और उनको वापस भेजते रहेंगे। सो जो हमारा एम है, वी वांट टू गो एंड देयर हैज टू बी कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इंटरवेंशन। अनफॉर्चुनेटली व्हाट हैपेंस इज दैट एनजीओ अपने इंटरेस्ट के अनुसार और फंडिंग के अनुसार एक एरिया सेलेक्ट करके काम करते हैं। जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल कुछ लोग बच्चों के साथ ही काम करेंगे,
हाँ जी
ट्रैफिक विक्टिम के। हमारा ये कहने का है कि अगर सिर्फ बच्चों के साथ ही काम कर रहे हो तो आप उनका टेम्पररी है ना प्रिवेंट कर रहे हो। अगर माँ धंधे में है तो आगे चल के बच्चे का भविष्य बिगड़ेगा ही बिगड़ेगा।
Right.
ओके, तो जरूरी है कि माँ को निकालो बाहर और
हाँ जी
तब चीजें बदलेंगी। सो एनीवे, टिल एंड अंटिल देयर इज कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इंटरवेंशन, एक हॉलिस्टिक इंटरवेंशन जब तक नहीं होगा तब तक चीजें नहीं बदलेंगी। अनफॉर्चुनेटली ट्रैफिकिंग एक ऐसा क्राइम है जो कि कई पुलिस जुरिडिक्शन में इन्वॉल्व होता है। दिस इट इज नॉट इन वन स्टेट, इट कनेक्ट्स वेरियस स्टेट्स। And in our country the challenge is that the crime and the welfare is state subject. So अगर हम यहाँ पे अगर कोई लड़की वेस्ट बंगाल में की है और गोवा में
Right.
स्टेट का,
Right.
so and in case the West Bengal state which is from where the girls are coming in an organized manner, उनको ल्योर किया जाता है, किडनैप किया जाता है, अगर वहां पे पुलिस क्राइम नहीं रोकती है तो गोवा में नहीं रुकेगा। ये एक चीज समझना पड़ेगा, और ये हमने समझा है लास्ट 30 साल में। तो इसीलिए हमारा एम है कि हम सोर्स एरिया में जाएं और ये मुक्ति मॉडल के बारे में चर्चा करें और वहां लोगों को एनकरेज करें करने के लिए। हम लास्ट 5 साल से हमने वेरी एक्टिवली हमने ये शुरू किया है, पर अनफॉर्चुनेटली इतना अभी हमें सक्सेस नहीं मिला है। हम नहीं पाते हैं कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस आर वेरी मच कीन इन इनिशिएटिंग लाइवलीहुड प्रोग्राम, ओके,
Right. Right.
in other states. And it is very frustrating for us that when we are rescuing the girls, the first thing they ask is that calm do. Okay, and since they are from other state, they don't want to stay here. So it
Right.
becomes very challenging for us to mobilize job for them. And since we
Right.
are unable to mobilize job for them, there are cases of re-trafficking. And it's not only in India. Globally also you see is that there is a lot of cases of re-trafficking is very high when it comes to commercial sexual activity. But
Right.
क्या होता है कि we as a NGO or state or society, we put the blame on the girl.
On that goal, obviously. Right.
ओके,
Right.
तो उसी को हम बदनाम कर देते हैं कि क्यों नहीं कर रही है, जाके घर पे मेड सर्वेंट का जॉब नहीं करती है, क्यों नहीं करती है। अरे कितना
It's
घर
hard
सेफ
for
है
them
वो
to
हमें
find.
मालूम है। हाँ,
Very true.
इनकम उसको चाहिए, वो घर की ब्रेड अर्नर है, 3 बच्चे हैं उसके, तो क्या वो 1200, 1500, 7,000 में क्या घर चला पाएगी। All these things we need to see. So anyway, when you ask me that what is your future plan, we are going out of Goa and trying to discuss with state agency, NGOs, international NGOs to somewhere try to adopt Mukti model, and somewhere we have been successful. As I said, at South Asia level, some of the international organization, non-government organization have agreed to experiment with our model and implement them.
So, sir, in all these years of your experience with these women and minors. I assume, please correct me if I'm wrong, that in along with minors, have you seen boys also being sold for sex in this racket?
See, there was a time, okay, not in Baina, okay, but outside Baina, a lot of pedophile activities were happening, wherein we found that foreigners, okay, and also few domestic tourists, they were engaged in that. And then organizations, okay, various organization in Goa and us, we had booked cases whenever we have come across. Today we find is that the numbers have gone down because
Okay,
of the various legislations, Goa Children's Act, okay, and POXO, which has been recently legislated in
right,
2013. And we
right,
also find is that the police is very sensitive. Society is more alert when it comes to children. So we
okay,
find is that the numbers are down. Okay, we'll not say that it is not happening, but it has really gone down compared to what was the situation pre to.
okay. So compared to women, still there is a lot more social alertness and awareness towards children. Still, we're still coming to the fact for women, but for children, there's already some awareness given for pedophilic activities that is that happens.
What has happened is that yeah, definitely that is there. One is legislation, but I always try and see other factors also, because I do see is that when it came to children, the children who were exploited were
Yeah.
not only limited to poor class migrant population. In Goa,
Oh,
Father Pete's case, if you study,
right.
majority of the children, okay, were also of local Goans.
Okay.
Okay. So class does play an important role, okay, in determining the intervention. Okay, like if you see drug
Mhm.
trafficking, see, find
Right.
that the state is very, very active. We
Yeah.
have a central the base agency, we have state agencies, special court, special prosecutors. Why so? है ना?
Right. Right.
बट इसके अंदर अगर आप ज्यादा देखने जाएं तो अगर कि ड्रग्स से जो ज्यादा हार्म हो रहा है वो मिडिल क्लास, अपर मिडिल क्लास और हायर क्लास का.
Right.
Okay. So as a student, I would say that in every problem, okay, the intervention, when it comes to intervention, you need to also see from the point of view of caste, region, religion. Now,
Even
why?
till today, even till
Uh,
today, that even if you're from a specific caste,
yeah,
it still applies.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
sad though. It's very sad.
But that's the reality. If you
Yeah.
see red light areas, who are these women? Illiterate, lower caste,
Right. Who has no
okay, from
background.
a poor background,
Right.
okay, victim of violence, a victim of rape, victim of domestic violence, okay. So those who are already marginalized, they get trafficked and they get exploited. And those who don't have support, अगर किसी के पास सपोर्ट होगा तो क्या फैमिली छोड़ेगी उसका
Mhm.
एक्सप्लॉयटेशन होने के लिए?
Of
कितना
course.
भी क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम में करप्शन हो, द फैमिली वुड एनी हाउ एंश्योर कि मेरी
Right.
बेटी बाहर निकले.
Safety of
Exactly.
the child, yeah.
पर ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है, ये समझना जरूरी है, क्यों नहीं हो.
Sir,
No, absolutely. So you're
एक और सवाल, like as Payal and me asked, we are here as volunteers. If we want to help you, how can we help you? Like there are so many people who are going to listen to the podcast, and if they want to
yeah.
help you, how can they help you?
How
देखिए
can they
हमारी
reach
जो
out to
सबसे
you?
है ना, हमारी
Yeah.
जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीजें हैं, एक तो ये है कि अगर अगर वॉलंटियर्स अपने ही लेवल पे अगर ये मिसकंसेप्शन ब्रेक करे कि विक्टिम जो है, जो औरत है या बच्चे हैं, वो रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं प्रोस्टिट्यूशन एक्टिविटी के लिए, वो एक कहीं पे तोड़ना है, वो कहीं पे भी रह के कर सकते हैं. उसके लिए गोवा में आके अर्ज के साथ काम करने की जरूरत नहीं है. एक
Mhm.
जो दूसरा चीज है जो हमारे लिए है कि वो ये है कि हमारे पास लड़की लोगों की लाइवलीहुड की बहुत लंबी लिस्ट है.
Right.
वी आर रेडी टू इनिशिएट बिजनेस. अगर आप लोग हेल्प कर सके हमारे प्रोडक्ट्स को बेचने के लिए, एंड दीज प्रोडक्ट्स आर ऑफ हाई क्वालिटी, ओके,
Okay.
जो मार्केट में जो दूसरे प्रोडक्ट्स है उसको कंपटीशन देते हैं। तो अगर लोग हमारे प्रोडक्ट खरीदे, जो विश है उसको एक ब्रांड बनने में
Okay.
हेल्प दें, तो हम और लोगों को एम्प्लॉयमेंट दे सकते हैं, क्योंकि
Okay.
हमारी सोच ही काफी नहीं है। हमारा इन्वेस्टमेंट इन बिजनेस को लगाने से ही काफी नहीं होगा जब तक हमारे प्रोडक्ट्स नहीं बिकेंगे। तो वो जरूरी है, उसमें आप हेल्प कर सकते हैं। उसके अलावा आप जिस भी प्रोफेशन में हैं, है ना, चाहे आप काउंसलर हो, लॉयर हो, बिजनेस स्टडी कर रहे हो, इन केस यू वांट टू come to Goa and volunteer and help us, okay, in our work, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Before I wrap up on the episode, because we're close to ending it, so one last question I wanted to ask you before we wrap up. How do you feel today about having such a huge, successful organization and helping women out of this trafficking racket? How do you feel?
If you ask me professionally, I feel very
Professionally,
satisfied.
personally, everywhere.
Professionally, I feel feel very satisfied. Okay, that we have been able to achieve a lot. Okay,
Hmm.
we have been able to break various misconceptions.
Hmm.
Okay, uh, we have been able to bring laws, policies, demonstrate to the entire world that
Right.
what works. But also, what I feel somewhere a bit frustrating is that now, because of age, uh,
Hmm.
still I know a lot needs to be done. Okay,
Right.
I
Right.
feel now my second inning is starting. When the second inning is outside Goa, as I said. Now for that,
Right.
not very sure that same kind of energy
Right. Of
I
course.
will have in coming years. Okay, to convince people to
Right.
adopt to Mukti model, because if not, I will be only satisfied that I have been able to make difference in Goa, but not as a whole on the issue of commercial sexual activity in India.
Right. Right. Of course, I'm pretty sure you'll be successful in all over the world, sir. As Asta said, this episode will be going on YouTube, and of course, we will be addressing the audience as well to please show support and to contact you and the organization directly for any kind of volunteering work and help. And where even Astha and I also can help you in some way. Like I live in Canada, she lives in Delhi. We can always spread awareness on this on the model as well to implement however we can help. But thank you so much for coming on the show today, sir.
you so
It
much.
was a very insightful episode, and I learned a lot from you today, especially about the history of trafficking and what's been happening, your journey with it. It's been
Yeah.
a very, very intense, insightful episode. I'm blessed to have this episode today. Actually, I'm very honored to have you today to understand the workings of your organization. We've heard so much about it, actually.
And the
Okay, thank you
supply,
very much.
yeah, the supply and demand that you
Yeah, yeah.
created of the work, because the main issue is not getting work. That I felt like कर लेंगे, उसके बाद रिलैप्स हो जाता है, जो स्टेज पे हमको सबसे ज्यादा दिक्कत होती है कि 1 साल रख लेंगे, 2 साल रख लेंगे शेल्टर होम में, पर उसके बाद क्या करेंगे, उसके बाद कहाँ जाएंगे और कहाँ से खाना लाएंगे बच्चों के लिए भी। वो चीज एक चीज है जो हमने नहीं होते हुए देखी, फ्रेंकली स्पीकिंग एज अ काउंसलर नहीं होते हुए
Right.
देखी। जो आपने स्टार्ट किया है, आई होप that it increase and spread out throughout the India and throughout the world, and we generate employment for everybody in India.
It's very difficult to bring someone out of such a painful past, and to put them to have a better life. And like what sir said, it's very difficult for them to trust anyone around them because they have been betrayed by someone close to them. How can you trust someone when you've been betrayed by someone who you never thought would betray to you, or at least or probably just give you the wrong information about yourself, like the Devdasi system, where you
Yeah.
sell your body in the name of God. It's not fair.
Okay, thank you very much, Payal and Astha, for having me. It was lovely talking to both of you. All the
Thank
best.
you,
Keep
sir.
in touch.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Bye.